presented is the fact that it totally goes against what the rule of law requires from the Sharia, from the normative legal system itself. So, for example, you know, when you consider the issue of stoning for adultery, the requirement, the evidentiary standard, is 4 live witnesses to the act of sexual relations at the time that it's taking place. From an evidentiary perspective, it's almost impossible to establish that unless it's some kind of party that's gone a little bit weird. You know, it's very, very difficult to establish that criteria. So the fact that you have...
And the punishment?
That punishment...
Stoning to death?
Yeah, the fact that you have the punishment even taking place means that effectively the rule of law is being abused at some point, because it's impossible to establish that evidentiary standard.
But you would agree with stoning to death for adultery?
I mean, the whole point is that was never envisaged, really.
But I mean, you would agree?
I agree with the Islamic concepts of how we practice our punishments, okay, generally speaking, what they are. Whether or not they're even
I think, Julian, what's a really important point in all this...
No, I think it's important. So sure. Cage, well, the difference between cage prison is your personal opinion. I accept
this
that.
Is purely my own personal opinion.
Purely your personal opinion is that the death penalty is okay.
From an Islamic perspective, yes, as long as all the due process elements are met, then it can be, depending on if all the elements are there.
I think that, you know, what happens is when people discuss Sharia, it's everybody discusses crime and punishment, or the punishment, the hudud. So what we're talking about here is the hudud, the punishment aspect. That's not Sharia. The Sharia is the law.
And that's the whole rule of law process.
Right, it's the whole process.
Which is what I want to get at.
Yeah. And none of us are really sort of qualified to talk about it in the way that it should be discussed in terms of a country establishing itself and formulating these rules. And primarily because no country has applied them since the fall of the Caliphate of the Ottomans. So it's in essence a theoretical discussion. That's something we have to develop.
Do you think this, you go back to the Ottomans and the Ottoman Caliphate, that the absence of an Islamic state that most people would want to live in, it seems, would you agree that there's not too many? Maybe Oman is it? I'm not sure.
Let me tell you a very interesting point. When the Caliphate was abolished, one of the first... The Ottoman Caliphate was abolished. One of the first people to advocate for it was Mohandas K. Gandhi. And the reason why is because he understood that this was something that was central to the fabric of Islamic history. And so I think the call for the establishment of a caliphate, or perhaps not even using that word, but a united Muslim bloc, is something that most people would want.
Don't you think Tunisians would go, we're Muslims, we're in Tunisia, we speak a bit of French, a bit of Arabic,